What could be better than a quick and easy meatloaf and some smashed potatoes? And that is exactly what we're going to do in our Ninja Speedi today. We're going to make ourselves a meatloaf with some smashed potatoes on the side. Let's get started. All right, this first thing we need to do is go ahead and preheat the Speedi. Now, we don't do that very often, but for this meal we will. We need to flip that lever down on the top, switch us over to air fry stove top settings. I'm going to go right there where it says bake roast. Bake roast. And we'll just take the default for now to get it preheated, but we'll adjust everything out here in a little while. Let's let that go ahead and preheat while we're putting together the meatloaf. I'll go over the ingredients as we add them. We're going to start with 1 pound of ground beef. Obviously, there are many ways to make a meatloaf, so you can modify anything you like. You can put half ground beef, half turkey, whatever, you know, you get the idea. Let's put the ground beef. I'm going to go for all ground beef in mine. Let's get some stuff in there. Let's do a teaspoon, more or less, of Worcestershire. You can pronounce it any way you want. That's how I say it. I think that's close. Worcestershire. I don't know. Anyway, a teaspoon of that. Let's go with a tablespoon or so of minced garlic. Crack 1 egg in there. Take a piece of bread, slightly older piece maybe. I got this heel here. If you can find it, just crunch it up in small pieces. It's going to be like the binder. It's going to hold everything together for us. I got a half a cup of milk here. That's whole milk. I'm going to put in about 4 tablespoons of ketchup. I'm not going to measure this, but you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you save that out. We're going to use that for the glaze as well. Let's hit it with a little salt and pepper. You know what I'm using, of course. And I'm going to cut a little teeny bit of this red onion and chop it real quick and get that in there too. And that will be our quick and easy meatloaf, except for the glaze that we'll put on later. A little bit of that red onion. All right. There is no better way that I know of to mix this up than this utensil right here. So hands clean, sanitized. Let's get in there. Ooh, that's cold. Anyway, we want to get everything mixed together here. And let's get some aluminum foil out. I'm going to show you a little trick. For this, I prefer to use the heavy duty. And what we're going to do is make ourselves a little baking tray here to fit down into the Speedi. I'm going to pull a pretty good sized piece out here. I'm going to start to form just by folding it around. And start to make myself a little baking tray. Until you look something, zoom out for you, if you look something like this. Hey guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. What we're doing is a place to catch the grease. And by doing this, the meatloaf will come out really nice and crispy. All right, let's get the meatloaf from there to here. Go ahead and further form it up once you got it in there. Now I prefer mine a little square. If you can get it a little more even across the surface, it will cook better. If it's all rounded up in the middle, that section's probably not going to cook too good. So just kind of flatten it out, square it up. Looking for like a rectangle here. That's pretty good. Transfer this over to a platter, make it a little easier to carry. Keep it flat on the bottom, and let's go ahead and get this into our preheated Speedi. All right, let's get your meatloaf down in there. Get my hand around the camera here. And I want you to slide it over to one side. I know, trust me. Just slide this over to one side. Okay, let's go get those potatoes prepped. All right, for the potatoes, we're going to poke a few holes in them. Let steam escape. And then through whatever means or manner you can do it, we're going to coat these in some oil. I'm just going to use my little sprayer here. And this is grapeseed oil that I have today in here. And I'm going to just use my hands, and I'm just going to coat these things in oil, just like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to drop these over into the Speedi on the outside of the foil. We will have to go back and roll them over, but for now we're just going to drop them in on the outside. I did want to mention that if you like, you can salt and pepper these now, or you can just do it after the fact, after we smash them. But I'll just throw a little on there, so why not? Drop them right down the side. Okay. Of course it rolls over. There we go. Right down the side with the seasoning on top, but we're going to roll them anyway. Just like that. That's what you guys want to be looking like. And now we're ready to start cooking. Keep it on bake roast. Increase the temperature to 350. This is still preheated. It's still pretty warm in there. Time, 35 minutes. Don't forget, we are going to have to come back and roll those potatoes over around halfway through. And we'll temperature check our meatloaf, and we may have to go a little longer than 35. It all depends on the amount of meat that you're using, how big your potatoes were, you know, etc., etc. All right, let's get that glaze made. We're going to start with the ketchup. So we're looking for about a half of a cup of ketchup. Half a cup. A little shy of a half a cup there. Let me squeeze a little more in. All right, you need 3 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to leave that up to you. Apple cider vinegar is pretty strong. It could overpower. So I'm actually going to go 2 in mine, because the ketchup, depending on the brand of ketchup, probably has apple cider vinegar in it, or some sort of vinegar. And we need 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. And that's it. That's the glaze. And by the way, I just went in and rolled those potatoes over. Everything is looking really good in there. So I'm going to do a little guesswork. My brown sugar has got a little crunchy on me, a little hard. Oh, here we go. It just broke up. So we get approximately that's 1, 2, 3. That's probably good. I don't want it too sweet. So the numbers I give you, 4, 2, and all that, half a cup, that's per a recipe. Obviously, change it around like I just did to whatever you guys prefer. And we're going to give this a good mix. Break up, make sure you break all that brown sugar up. Anyway, we've got a nice crisp on top. The potatoes are getting soft. Let's get an internal temperature check on the hamburger. Well, that's good. I was looking for 160. We're definitely there. So all we need is a few minutes for this glaze. And we may need a few more minutes for the potatoes. I don't know. Now this glaze, obviously with all the sugar in it, is going to burn fast. So we don't really want a burn going on here. We want a glaze. So we need to be careful with our air fry. Fortunately, we are down in the bottom of the Speedi, which will keep it from the air fry too much. Anyway, just leave it in the same mode you're in. and crank it up to move it up to air fry. 390 is fine. Go ahead and hit it, and you can set the timer to 3 to 5 minutes if you want. I'm just going to keep an eye on it, a visual, and I'll come back in about 3 minutes and we'll see where we're at. It's 3 minutes. Okay, so we're getting bubbly on the sauce. It looks like a nice glaze. See how shiny that is? I'm going to call this finished. And while we're getting the grease out of this and working on the meatloaf, we're going to let the potatoes just continue to cook for a few minutes. Back on bake roast again. I'll flip it back. And we're going to be very careful here, guys. That is a lot of grease. So what my plan is to have a platter, big platter, sitting right here, and go in with some hot gloves. Just pull this up right onto the platter. Then I have a bowl already sitting in the sink to catch the grease in. And what we'll do is we'll just take a knife and just poke a hole down into the corner there and just let it drain in. That's the current plan. We'll see how that really goes. Let's take a look at this. Almost, I would call that pretty much a perfect meatloaf. You tell me. We're going to cut into this in just 1 second. Yeah. Well, she's hot, guys. She's hot. We got those potatoes still roasting up in there while we look at this meatloaf. We're going to pull those out and fix them up here in just a minute for you. Okay, knife really not required here. That is just insanely tender. Perfectly cooked through. Beautiful glaze on top. Still bubbling up there for you. So we're going to let that cool a little bit, get our potatoes ready, and taste everything. All right, right out of the foodie, this thing is smoking hot. Woo! You can probably see the steam coming out of this one. And this is what we're talking about when we say smashed. And that is smashed up pretty good. We love the skin on our potatoes. That's where all the good stuff is. I've got some of this amazing 82% butterfat butter. 83% actually. Check it out. Google it. This is probably about the best thing you can put on a potato. Let that melt a little bit. Got me some extra sharp cheese. This is going to be a good meal, guys. Everything melt up. Once we got it good and melted, put a little salt and pepper on it, and we got a little sour cream to top it off with. Well, there you have it, guys. Meatloaf and a smashed potato, basically a baked potato, all cooked in the Ninja Speedi in just about 40 minutes. With about, what, 5 to 8 minutes of prep time? Is that a good looking meatloaf or what? Oh my gosh. So simple, so easy. Just kind of mix it together, put it in, and walk away. Alright, well here we go, guys. Let's start off with some of this amazing looking meatloaf we made. Still piping hot. That is killer. Get a double thumbs up on that one. Wow. That really is great. I think I've outdone myself. Maybe not. Let's try this potato. Alright, cheese dripping everywhere. Sour cream, salt, pepper, Himalayan black salt, yeah, Himalayan pink salt, black pepper, garlic. You know what I use. That's it. Man, that was good. Okay. This is going to be a very good dinner. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching. Give that one a try. If you didn't think you could make a meatloaf and some potatoes in your Speedi at the same time. You were wrong, because there you go. Super simple, super easy. You probably got half the ingredients laying around the house already. Throw it together, pop it in, forget about it, eat it up. We'll see you soon on the next video.